All right, so my name is Ryan Albrecht, and I work for Sentry. You can come see us outside. What I want to talk about today is something called session replay, or how to solve all your errors and resolve your issues faster. Before I worked at Sentry, I worked at Pinterest. And who's on the Bluetooth? Before I worked at Sentry, I worked at companies called Pinterest and Facebook, who you might have heard of. So I have seen some things. I have caused some outages. It's, you know, if you guys have bugs, I understand. That Bluetooth's in the way. So bugs. You may have seen this in the past. I think this is from the monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey. But when I started, this was gold, because we had alerts and printing to screen to debug things. So this is an impossible to read stack trace. This is where we're starting from. So if you start with that, you realize you are not only in charge of fixing it, but you're probably the reason why. But it's okay. This is the past. In the modern world, we have tools like Sentry, which take that mess of text and bundle it together with some metadata and make it readable. So you can see here in Sentry a similar bug to what I just showed you. It's got suspect commits, so it tells me right away that I was probably the problem. It tells me what browser people are using to cause this kind of problem and all kinds of things. So this is the modern day. We've gone from something terrible that looks like a terminal to something very useful and nice. But what comes next? Stack traces are really just like a snapshot in time. And when we're debugging things, we're going to find out, like, how did we get here? Where are we going next? Like, what happened after the bug? So it'd be really great if we had like a bunch of stack traces sort of showing us the before parts, the after parts, kind of like a video. I don't know if you guys have heard of YouTube, but they do like this thing where you can watch things over time, like Flickr over time. Because you have to fix the problem, right? It's not just knowing what the problem is, but it's getting to that problem, reproducing it, and then knowing what the fix is. So this is what is a replay. A replay is a snapshot of the DOM where we're able to capture what the user is doing before an error happens and see what happens after that error happens, which helped you to know if the error was important, something that needs fixing, or maybe it's just something that the code is throwing up and you don't really need to care. But it isn't just a video. It's a snapshot of the DOM and all the debugging information that you need to solve a problem. Time travel debugging. You might think, oh, that's crazy. It's going to be so much data. It's actually all processing on the user's browser, but it's not really. It works as a snapshot and a bunch of diffs applied to that snapshot. So if you've heard of virtual DOM trees and all these cool buzzwords, it's like that. Under the hood, it's actually a surprisingly little amount of data that gets sent to the server. When we first started working on it, me and my team were like, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of data. That's not a problem. So here's an example website that might be still loading. We've got a recipe that's coming in. When we first serialize that, it's all the DOM nodes, everything that's loaded. And then as the page changes, we can see HTML nodes are added, and only the differences have to be sent back to the server. So as people are clicking around, opening menus, clicking buttons, usually the payloads are very, very small. Your headers, your footers, the sidebars, they're all going to be already saved. So this is the concept behind the replay. Now we're going to do a live demo. So pray with me that this works. Here we go. So this is Sentry, typical error list in Sentry. What we try to do is notice similar errors and group them up, so you have sort of actionable task list here that you can work on. So this first error, I think, is pretty typical. Syntax error, something was undefined. Maybe with Vue.js, you don't have that problem, but I work with React a lot, and this is common. Common across the web. Something's undefined, and we're trying to parse it. But what we've got added here is that a replay was captured, so we can actually see what was going on at the time that this error happened. So we'll click through here. We've only got one replay, so that's easy. And this is it. This is the session replay. Tiny bit bigger. We've got here on the left side our replay player. And this is actually live HTML. So if I click and inspect, we can see that this is the DOM, and as I hover over, there's a list of things here. So you can actually get into, you can get into your HTML and see if somebody was trying to click on a button that's disabled, or that maybe there's a wash over your page and it's transparent and they can't click on anything at all. You can find out what the issue is, investigate. But what we've also done is brought in all the developer dev tools that you're used to from Firefox or Chrome or Safari, or you're probably not using Internet Explorer anymore. So the console is here. Anything you've logged, you can see it. You can open them up. We can see here that something was caught, where there's objects. You can dig into those and debug as if you were looking over their shoulder, the user's shoulder. The network tab is here too, so you can see all of the network requests that were made. When did Ajax come in? Was it slow? Did it have an error? Maybe it was a 200, but it was empty for some reason. All of the normal debugging things are here. We've also got our normal breadcrumbs, which give you sort of an overview of what happened in what order. So you can see that the error happened, and then the user clicked something else. They were actually still able to navigate on. So let's look at this for a minute. So the replay starts at time 0, and then at about 9 seconds, we can jump right there. An error happened. Let's play it. So the user clicked something. Oh, and the screen went white. Pause it right there. So replay is already telling me, even though this is like an undefined error, it's some kind of JSON parsing, it's actually pretty serious because this screen has gone white. Zoom in here. It's a white screen. So this is something that you can immediately tell just by looking at the screen that, like, I want to fix this. But there's more breadcrumbs here, so we can keep playing it and see what did the user do. They're doing a navigation, so maybe they're reloading the page. And here it comes. And I guess I can play this full screen for you guys. So you can see the mouse moving around, and the user's able to recover by reloading the page. But that blank screen experience, if it's part of your checkout flow or it's part of your like critical area in your app, you're going to want to get that fixed. So I think this is a killer feature. Oops. And such an easy way to convince people who might not be front-end developers that, like, this is what you're spending your time on, or this is why it's important. I know that one of my back-end developers on my team, he was looking at some replays just yesterday, and he was like, literally in chat, based on this replay, we need to fix this problem. And it was some API endpoint that was like kind of funny, and it might have been a problem for a while, but looking at the replay, he knew that, like, it was affecting people. And so that's the kind of tool that this is. It's something to give you a lot more insight into the bugs that you have, and let you see what users are doing, so that you can time travel debug and see how did they get into the problem and what did they do next. Turn that off. Okay, before the internet goes out, live demo over. So replay all the things. Replay works on Vue.js wonderfully well. We have setup instructions on the website that you can literally copy paste. It's like 2 steps, but we're working on a 1-step one. But because it applies to HTML, you can use it on any website. So your internal sites, public sites, things that are privacy sensitive. All of the stars that you noticed in the demo are because we want to strip out anything that's PII or that you don't want to be saving for legal reasons or anything like that. We don't want it either. We don't want the liability. And so we turn everything off and let you opt into it when you're comfortable, or things that you need to debug better. But I think because you know your website so well, it's pretty easy to debug what's going on. The user clicked on the list, you know what the URL is, you know what they're looking at generally. So replay works everywhere. And that's it. If you've learned one thing from this talk, is that session replay is a tool. You should investigate it. And if you want to find out more, please come talk to us at the booth. I am happy to show you more detailed examples and figure out how it can work for you. Thanks.